Now, Melanie, I want to jump right in to you with your perspective on what you heard from our friend John Ray today. I know you had a chance to meet with him at the Suffolk County Courthouse, and I mean, are you surprised? Is this a wow moment for you?
Sadly, no. All along, and I did a show on Karen Vergata. I went back and looked at it about 2 months ago when they identified, or when they publicly said that Jane Doe number 7 was Karen Vergata. My working hypothesis all along has been that Rex may have been involved in her death, as well as the other, what they call Manorville butcher cases. But a lot of people were poo-pooing that theory, saying that there's no way, those were dismembered. The Gilgo 4 were not dismembered. It could never be the same guy. There's definitely more than one serial killer. And all along, I've thought, like, that would just be crazy because, you know, living here, we're thinking, how could there be 2 serial killers dumping bodies and body parts in the same location? That's just insane. And what this does today, you know, a lot of people have thought John Ray is crazy. He's a kook. Nobody believes a word he says. But what this does today, this information, puts Karen Vergata in Rex Heuermann's house on Valentine's Day in 1996, which is the exact day that she went missing. The last time her family ever heard from her. And then her legs wash up on Fire Island 2 months later. They were found in April of 96. And then her skull was not found until April of 2011, 15 years later, which was around the same time that they started finding those other body parts, if you recall, around, you know, Gilgo, Manorville area, torsos, etc. So it's a very interesting.
Right. And now you got a witness who swore out an affidavit that said they brought her Karen to his house. Mm-hmm. And there was a cop involved.
Based off a flyer in a club in Manhattan, close to his office, Ed.
Yeah, and it wasn't. And they, in the affidavit, it wasn't clear if whether Rex put that advertisement up in the club or she did, the wife.
You can't make this up. You cannot.
So again, this all has to get run down because listen, they're swingers. There's more people out there that's swaying with them, okay, and they're going to come out of the woodwork now, okay, to give their stories.
And I think, and guys, chime in if you feel that I'm a little off on this, but I really think that Rodney Harrison, the police commissioner, is using John Ray as a fishing device, as like a rod and reel in the water with bait on it, because he wants the more people that come and tell the similar stories and are able to corroborate these affidavits, it makes their case stronger. So I think, in fact, that this may be a case of sometimes the media and attorneys can be our best friends and our worst enemies. But in this case, Rodney Harrison, I was so happy to see him shoulder to shoulder with John Ray, and it was a victory because, Melanie, you know this, and Ed, you know it too. John Ray has been brushed to the side by Suffolk County higher-ups. They actually referred to him as an EDP. They thought that he was emotionally disturbed and that he was wacko, way out. And now he's finally getting, he had the police commissioner sitting in with him as he questioned the cab driver. Melanie, I wanted to ask you quick, too, before we wrap up. I heard at the end of this that John Ray said that he was deposing, I believe... Oh, I had his name written down here.
Oh, is it Dr. Brewer or Joseph Brewer?
Joseph Brewer. Now, Joseph Brewer was the John who summons Shannon Gilbert out to his home. The Dr. Hackett wasn't mentioned, but he mentioned that he finished deposing him today again.
Right. Yeah, that's in the civil case that he has on behalf of Shannon Gilbert's family.
Yeah,
which is interesting, but. Listen, you know, the house where this all happened, this was the house that Heuermann grew up in. He bought the house in 1994. So all of these timelines are starting to add up, right? You've been to that house, Ron. You've driven by that house for us, and we've seen it. He bought that house in 1994. He marries Asa Ellerup in March or April of 1996. So if this swinger party happened at his house in February, Valentine's Day of 96, makes perfect sense that she would be there. perhaps they were living together, even if they were not yet married. They were to be married 2 months later. So, you know, this puts her into the whole swinger community. Somebody said in the chat, a couple of people said I threw up a little bit in my mouth, and I got to say that I'm right there with you. I feel like this is an episode of Saturday Night Live where we're all three of us are in a skit and we just can't stop laughing.
Well, it's
terrible.
It is terrible, but you know, I know this is a very serious topic and everything, but when you start getting into these crazy lifestyles and the sexual deviancy in this world here, all I hear in the background is like the theme song from Austin Powers keep going off in my mind.
How many people have Googled La Trapeze today? Not me. I didn't want that in my search history. But
yeah, definitely want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that. But yeah, it puts a whole nother light on this case, and people, again, there was many people who were supportive and being supportive of Asa Ellerup and saying that she was just a victim of, you know, being around Rex Heuermann, a controlling, narcissistic sex freak. And we also got confirmation today that he was calling and contacting 20 plus times a day these sex workers and having sex with them 20 plus times a day. And that fits in the bill of what the police commissioner and the district attorney Tierney was saying, that they were afraid and they had to take him down because he was buying those burner phones to do what? To contact these sex workers. And this all ties in to current day of what they were doing when they were investigating him. They took him down because they were worried he was going to kill somebody again, because he was trying to reach out to these sex workers.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat about why aren't they questioning the wife right now? Well, she's lawyered up. Okay. Yeah. So, and she may have gave some statements in the beginning with the lawyer present, but I doubt she's going to be talking anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. So let's go to the chat. I want to just say thank you to everybody for being civil in the chat. I know that I see a lot of people talking about movies and trying to have some fun with this, but you know, this is when you look at it, we're talking about real people with, you know, families, and we're trying to get, you know, the police department is trying to get justice for these folks. And as much as we want to, you know, put a little bit of a twist on it, at the end of the day, there are real live, you know, people that are waiting for justice for their loved ones. So this is where we're at. And I'm sure that we're going to hear more in the following days. John Ray is going to be vocal. He's going to be out there again. He's going to talk. You know, he's gone on podcasts, and I've seen him on interviews. I looked before we went live here tonight, and I saw that he was talking with several other YouTube content creators to talk about his you know, the case and what he's doing. He's not exposing his cards, but he's talking. We're going to keep following this thing, and I want to thank Melanie Little and Ed Wallace for taking out the time here tonight. Again, this is a lot of moving parts. A lot of things are going to be happening, and you're going to get some people that are make a lot of different claims and misinformation being exchanged. But what you're going to get here is the facts. I'm going to link the two affidavits in the description. You guys can go and read it and check it out. It's really the same as what John Ray said today. And I want to go to Ed for final thoughts here.
Well, like I said, this is very interesting developments. Let's let the task force run this down. I'm sure by now they've identified this cop and have brought him in for questioning or talked to him about this case. And I think that would get us one step closer to charging Rex with Karen death, and that's also going to change the timeline now. Okay, and so that's interesting. And then if he dismembered Karen, so then he's probably involved with those other dismemberments that are found in the same area. So I think this is all very interesting, and hopefully we can get justice for all of these victims.